Okay, so now we're going to talk about trimming your piece. So this is a piece that I threw before. I threw it yesterday. I've had it out to dry all day today. So that's one option. I had it in a bag, and when I walked in this morning it was way too wet, so I left it out. If you ever think about it and you want to trim one day, it would never hurt to come in before school and check on your piece or earlier in the day. And if it's wet and you want to trim, you can actually take it out of the bag and leave it out in the open, and it should be ready by 7th hour for you. So mine is ready to go. It's leather hard. I can like scratch into it still with my fingernail, but it's strong and hard and I can handle it. You all know what leather hard is. Now the first thing I need to do, and this is kind of the most difficult part of the process, is I need to observe it. This isn't the most difficult part, but I skipped a step. The first thing I need to do is kind of memorize the inside of my pot. You know, what shape is it and how deep does it go? Because when I trim it, I want to mimic the shape on the outside down to my foot, and I want to make sure that when I create my foot, I don't actually go too deep to where I go through the bottom and create a hole. Okay, so once I've kind of looked at that, this is the difficult part, is centering it on the wheel. So there are lines on the wheel you can use, so I kind of use those to start, but then I also use a needle tool right here, and I make my wheel go very, very slowly. I hold my needle tool kind of like this right up to the edge of the piece, and I hold my needle tool really steady while it goes around. Now you notice when it's going around, it's hitting my needle in just one spot. That's the spot that is not centered. So I'm just going to move it over a tiny bit and do that again. All right. I'm doing it up towards the top because I feel like that's the most accurate place. It was hitting about right, and I lost it right there. And you want to just go until it's really consistent. Like here it's kind of hitting. All right, it's definitely closer over here. It's kind of a all right, I think that's the closest we're going to get it. It's kind of just hitting every once in a while all the way around the piece. So once I have it there, I'm going to use some regular clay that's wet, the same kind of clay that I have on here, okay? Use the same, like if you're using low fire, use low fire for this. If you're using white, use white. And I'm going to just kind of tack it down on the sides. I'm going to use 3 to kind of tack it down. You can use more than 3. You can go all the way around if you want, whatever you feel safest with. And I want to make sure I don't move this while I'm doing this. And I want to make sure if it shakes a little bit. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to actually use my medium loop tool to trim it. So this is the fun part. I actually have it going, and I'm going to use this to shave it off. It's actually very satisfying if your clay is like leather hard. And I'm just kind of trimming. I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm really just working on this bottom part and getting rid of any extra clay. Like if it's a little bit thicker in that corner, this is a good time to fix that. I'm mimicking, again, my bottom, so it's very similar, but I'm also kind of creating a foot. You see this foot that I'm kind of flattening out. You can use both sides here. The other thing I like to create for my foot, and this isn't mandatory, but I like to create something that actually looks more like a foot. So I'm going to start here in the middle, and I'm going to spiral out almost to the edge, but not quite to the edge. So like right there. So you can see my foot that's kind of developing right here. I'm going to kind of fix this up a little bit in here. Trimming can be kind of a pain for a lot of people. It's like you want to just be done when you actually after you make it. But it's actually also very satisfying and fun. Like, it's almost this lathing process. If any of you do any woodworking and do any lathing, it's very similar to that. I want to make sure my foot is even so that my pot doesn't like wobble, you know, it stands up straight and still. And I've got like this weird bump in here that I don't know how that developed. I'm going to shave that down because it's like skipping when I go over it. And now I'm going to try to fix it up. It almost feels like there's something in my clay, which is weird. Okay. I think that's good. Okay. Let's see how it looks. That looks pretty good from the bottom. Hopefully when you pick it up you can tell a difference, like it feels more even, like down here in this part right here it's not so thick. It looks pretty good. All right, so now the last thing you need to do is you need to sign it, of course. And you can put the date on it if you want, and it's all set to go. There you go. You're finished. Now it's all set. You can let it out to completely dry so that we can bisque fire it.